Good luck.
Everyone, this is the match that you've been waiting for tonight. I guess that you're one of the many who tuned into last night's podcast where Glenwood and Polonia sat side by side and debated with each other who else they thought would have the upper hand in this one. Obviously, backing themselves. It was fierce but thoughtful, a mix of passion and restraint was shown. Well, here's why Glenwood are desperate to win. Polonia, their opponents, are officially the pinnacle of the Division 2 competition, finishing in first place and already earning promotion to the first tier for the 2025 season. At one point, Polonia suffered 4 wins from 5 games, including a loss to Glenwood, and the Itsy Bitsy Spiders climbed up the waterspout to first place. It was theirs for the taking. Glenwood then won on their own run of 3 draws and 2 losses from 5 consecutive games, which effectively handed the promotion back in the hands of the Polonia Rams, which was accentuated by the win that the promoted Polonia had over Glenwood when the two sides met again in the reverse fixture. So the bone to pick Glenwood have. A season of what could have beens could be reprimanded tonight with a win when the world is watching. Glenwood, defensively so sound. While much has been made about the Redbacks' investment in youth, it's the Spanish-speaking contingent that cannot be ignored, mixed in with 2 boys who were birthed in Redback Red, plus some rep-level youth that's brought a touch of progression to the club. They are a joy to watch at their best. Let's see how they fare up, though, with the already promoted Polonia, the champions. I'm joined tonight by a very familiar voice, here to help me bring you the best coverage of local level football matches anywhere in the world. Bo Clements, welcome back to Blacktown on this oh-so-special night. What is it about Glenwood that makes them so dangerous in your opinion?
Good evening, Mark. Very glad to be here. Look, I think Glenwood's width, much like Polonia, I think the game is really going to be decided by who can attack the flanks the most. We saw Polonia in their last match of the round here in their 3-0 loss to Park Lee. They like to use that back 5. I don't know if that's changed since then. I know on the podcast they said that month or so was a time of change in roster, change in tactics. But if they are to continue that back 3, I think the width is really going to be where the boys are going to win and lose this game. Marco Bravo, do we need to say anything more than his name? Striking fear into the PL2 defences all across the year. Luke Giamelli on the other flank and Benny Inns leading the line. It is going to be a showcase.
Very, very well said. And here they are, Polonia. I've said it once and I'll say it a million times more. The most storied club in the entire association. The oldest club in the entire association. The club and home of the Polish during dating back 75 years ago to 1949. The jersey that these boys wear tonight is one that has been donned by some iconic State League players of yesteryear. Perhaps the most famous is for Jagiellonia Białystok Pillar, Henrik the Professor Moiser, who became a mainstay of Polonia as well. He's now 67 years old and is the coach that has led them back to Blacktown's top division. The best players and the best brand of football on their day. An injury crisis couldn't knock them off their stride, and some terribly timed weddings as well, lads. Fix it up for next season. They now want to cap their deserved promotion season with a grand final win in this big dance, but they're up against a team who have something to take back off them today, a team who haven't won anything this year, but have something to prove, and that is a recipe for a fun football match. Bo, I come back to you. We've talked about one striker in red. What about the man from Polonia, who also has more than a couple next to his name, Lockie Nixon?
Lockie Nixon, well, few and far between. Are there any strikers that compare to Lockie Nixon? I'm sure PL1 defenders will be watching this tonight to get a taste of what they're up against next year. And you look, 25 goals in the regular season, and normally for a club, sometimes they just pour all their goals into one man. But Emmanuel Aladegbai, just a few goals behind on, I believe it was about 16 or so. That attacking threat is going to wreak havoc both tonight and in years to come.
My name is Mark DePoli. Welcome to Night 1, Part 2 of the Friday evening Grand Final Series of 2024. It's Polonia and it's Glenwood in the PL2 First Grade Grand Final. I'm going to take you now through the starting 11s as both teams are in a huddle. Marcus De La Fuente will start in goal. He spent 3 years in the BDSFA AYL system, 3 years now in Polonia. He'll be one of the keepers that really makes a name for himself next year in PL1. It's a back four this time, I can confirm, at least for the time being, of right back and 19-year-old Ashton Fant. Aidan Cox and Johnny Pickering are the two centre-backs, the former 31 years old, the latter 19 years old. And at left back, it's going to be Manjot Singh stepping in for Meninder Singh, you might remember, who got 2 throw-in assists in one game. Michael Cullen, Jacob Skibaras, formerly known as Jacob Parnell, is going to be in the midfield alongside Adrian Laterre. Up top, it's Samuel Abbas, who's the most carded player in the entire Blacktown Association, alongside Emmanuel Aladabaye in the 21 jersey, and of course, the man who once got 5 goals in a single match of the round game, Lockie Nixon, as we've talked about already. Quickly over to Glenwood now, the challengers. Ronan Dodds begins in goal. He was actually an extra in the movie Anyone But You and did a scene alongside Sydney Sweeney, so that man can keep his composure when it gets, I guess you could say, under a lot of pressure. Cameron Hayes at right back is a guy who was absolutely phenomenal in one of their opening match of the round games of the season, next to Jake Baptiste, just 20 years old, alongside his centre-back partner, also 20 years old, Nick Taylor. Lockie Inns, 18 years of Redback at left back. In the midfield three, it's a 4-3-3 versus a 4-3-3 tonight. Daniel Jimenez, the 29-year-old, first season. The Colombian international will be behind Adam Lowe in his second season, formerly of Hong Kong's second division. And of course, the boxer himself, Ash Alumi in the 16 jersey, spoke eloquently and fiercely on the podcast in midweek. Off to the right, it's former Parkley man, first brand new signing of this year, Luke Gemelli in the 13 jersey. Of course, Ben Inns will go through the middle with 7 assists to go with his 12 goals this year in his 10th decade season at the club. And just as we get to just as we get to the start of the game, the final man to mention, Marco Bravo Ortiz, the Chilean sensation, is here to do something special tonight. It was predicted by Adam Lowe that he'd score a bicycle kick to score a winner in the 90th minute. Will he? I wouldn't put it past him. How many good things do we see from Glenwood? How many good things have we seen from Polonia this year? Bo Clements, give me your prediction. No one will judge you for it, but what is your pick for this game?
Look, my only experience with Polonia this year was that 3-0, and I think that is blindsiding me a bit. I am seeing Glenwood. I tend to think that this week off can sometimes take a bit of the edge off you, and you sort of come into it a bit cold. I know Polonia have played the top 5 teams coming into finals, but Glenwood, they've had to, as Coach Harry said, they've had to do it the hard way. So if anyone can do it against these Polonia boys, it'll be Glenwood. I'm thinking Glenwood 2-1. I think Marco Bravo pulls a brace.
Well, here is Marco Bravo. Ortiz puts it across the face of goal. Very early start for Glenwood here. Comes back to the Chilean, and it's been cleared away just about. He represented high-level sides across his years playing back home. No surprises to see that he's made himself one of the astonishing performers in PL2 this year. Another big tackle comes in. This right-hand side of Polonia, by the way, the right-back Fant and also the right winger in Sammy Abbas. 18 years for Abbas, 19 years for Ashton. It is a very young partnership up this right flank. Very early start. Marco Bravo Ortiz already into the mix. Bo?
Yeah, I've quite liked. I didn't get to see him actually when it was the 1-1 draw here against Parkley. I thought that might have hindered them, but they've got attacking quality in spades of Glenwood, and not just that, the back end as well is nice and tidy. See Asher Lamy putting in a strong challenge. Really keen to see how he performs in this. Really took the game by storm against Parkley. 5 minutes after getting booked, picked up that back heel off Paul Pauly and just drilled it into the back of the net.
No surprises. The quality of Pauly. A match of the round goal scorer on one occasion. Should have been an all-star if he wasn't away 2 seasons ago. It's been allowed to bounce out of the hands of the goalkeeper, but Aidan Cox goes all the way back to the 18-year-old stalwart in Marcus De La Fuente. Half El Salvadorian, half Uruguayan. That's gone into touch, and the Glenwood boys love that. Gemelli now putting some pressure on Cox, who's forced to go in touch again. Fast start for Glenwood up this near side. Lockie Inns, who's got the captain's armband on. Just 24 years old he turns this year. And the fact he's got the captain's armband among some esteemed company is amazing. Johnny Pickering, just 19 years old at centre-back. Not the first choice centre-back because Of course, and bless him, it is in fact Kuba Moisa who's the captain, or usually as well, their centre-back starter who's away on his honeymoon, bless him. Here is Jason Skiberis. Of course, you may normally know the former Pons and Schofield Scorpion man as Jacob Parnell, but Jacob Skiberis, now the newly named man who sent them with a 2-goal cushion into this game, with a free kick coming off in the 92nd minute. Ball delivered in, it was by Lockie Nixon, who can play literally any position on the pitch. Inns, a chance over his man, Benjamin Inns, in the most important game of the season, hasn't got his last touch right across the face of goal and he's weaker left.
Just look at the scramble, though, from Polonia. Benny Inns had about 5 metres head start over anyone, and by the time he got the ball down to his feet, there were 5 players before the goalkeeper. And I think the defensive tenacity from a team like Polonia to come back and scramble. Look, if they don't win tonight, they're still going up, but they want this. They want to have the clean sweep and show the PL1 that they're not just going to play this hungover like many other sides have gone and done in the past.
Brilliantly well said, a great observation of teams of the years gone by when it comes to already being promoted and making the grand final. Since we've been doing these live streams, it's 1-1 promoted teams winning the grand final and then losing them. At least the premiers have made the grand final on those 3 occasions.
That is another massive talking point for tomorrow, but we'll save that for you with Mariong's.
Well, yes, of course.
What can we say about that, really? It's quite a shock.
The thrice premiers, only one team, they're 21s, and that 21s team is by far and away the best team in the comp on their best day. Only one making it to the grand final. Usually the old Blacktown crowd want me to ramble on a little less about Mariong, but maybe they'll like it a little bit more if I'm the one who's saying bad words against them. But yeah, I guess you were surprised by it too.
Yeah, I mean, looking especially at Pons, I thought quite similar to Polonia, actually. They sort of had a dip in the middle of the season, lost a few players, but I guess Polonia and Pons both have similarly just put that to the side and have just burnt their way home and have got themselves a ticket to the big dance.
They tend to do that, the old Pons boys, and certainly we'll see what they can do tomorrow. I've got a good feeling about the boys from Jonas Bradley Reserve as Michael Cullen gets involved. Recovered his way through a couple of injuries, but particularly one that kept him out for a good middle chunk of the season. It's barely been a game where any of the midfielders besides Jacob Skiberis has really got on the ball. Laterre's given it away, not a natural midfielder. Of course, got a match of the round goal and his opening match of the round debut as the season started last year, up against Oakville. Speaker then, by the way, what a night for them tonight. Abbas has passed his man Hayes, tries to deliver him with a bit of nonchalantness. In fact, it was Aladabaya who was looking for Abbas. Aladabaya, born in Nigeria, moved to Australia. Wants to put that ball in. Dangerous looking. Lachlan Nixon stabbed it at goal. Ronan Dodds made the save.
Great little footwork in the corner. Tight space being marked by 2 by Emmanuel. And that's just how quickly Polonia can turn it on. Michael Cullen speaking in the podcast that sometimes when things are half a chance, a quarter of the chance, Manny and Lockie just pick something out of nothing, and they nearly got away with that there.
Alumi into the wars there. The boxer knows how to start, or at least end a fight. He's won a set piece here. He's been a revelation in just his second year back in football after being a rep level player at youth. He took some years out. Came back in through the 21 system, this being his only BDSFA club he's ever represented. And he's been a real star from 21s, former Melita NPL representative, former Spartans as well. It's been claimed easily by De La Fuente, though.
Hasn't looked like he's missed a beat from missing a few years of football. Obviously, being so young, you do miss in and around that late teenage stage, that progression from boys to men, but being able to go from 21 straight to first grade, just a show of his strength and his quality on the ball.
Lockie Nixon on the ground where he scored 5 to become a match of the round hero, I guess you could say. Not if you're a Newbury fan, though, unfortunately. Ronan Dodds has picked that up. Just 21 years old, one of many of the former Hawkesbury NPL representatives. Also, Nick Taylor, one of his centre-backs in front of him, can say that they represented the boys from out west. Attempted to flick on there by Benjamin Inns. A sliding in challenge was eventually only worsened by a even later one there by Daniel Jimenez, it seemed. Yes, and that number 6 jersey, an enforcer of sorts.
I think both sides have just started to slow down a little bit with the intensity. I know grand final, I guess, like any big game, you want to come off the blocks flying, but 90 minutes is a long time to hold their intensity as Benny Inns picks the pocket of Pickering.
And it's picked up here by Ash Alumi, and then lays it off to Adam Lowe. Predicted a 2-1 win tonight for his side. Marco Bravo Ortiz standing up against Fant. Bravo by Marco. Still Marco goes on. Glenwood contingent Lavin on that sideline. Ball delivered in by Lowe, the 35-year-old looking towards Gemelli at the back stick. Alumi picks it up in that 16 jersey, fed through. Pickering read it well. And it's been cleared away to be picked up here by Nick Taylor.
A really important cutout there. Could have seen Felix Jimenez almost one-on-one with De La Fuente. Would have been Glenwood's most potent threats to start this grand final.
Referees as well, by the way, as we had in last week's match of the round. Jack Leitner out in the middle, had a fantastic game as a pot shot comes in from distance and threatens the Zenith commercial sign to the left of the goal. Josh Watkins is our assistant referee on one side, Keanu Woods here on the near side, and Mario Tadone goes from centre referee in the last game to fourth official in this one. So the opening 10 minutes of the game, I would say neither of these two teams have really put their foot on the ball yet. A chance maybe at either end, but no real assertion of dominance from either side just yet.
Yeah, the grand final nerves certainly catching out a few of these boys. I know, as you mentioned, a lot of youth on either side of the park, which I'm really keen to see both Polonia and Glenwood's, these projects start to emerge and continue to build in the coming years. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Glenwood knocking on the door for promotion next year. If they can pick up that reserve grade team with just a bit more quality to add the points, because the disparity between the two is really what's let them down. I know Polonia's obviously got the minor premiership in both first and reserve grade, but you do need that reserve grade to just sort of help back it up a bit if you want to make promotion.
That ball by Alumi was way too flat, and it's allowed Sammy Abbas, who's as quick as a whip, to come up this right-hand side, but that touch was horribly wrong by a kid who, he might only have 2 goals in first grade, but for 24 in the season, when you combine his 21's performances, he's picked up 22.
Early cramp, it looks like, for Adam Lowe.
Well, that's really concerning because we're only 10 minutes and 40 seconds into this game. I do wonder if there was something off the ball that might have happened, and we're going to have a little look back. Oh, no, he's pulled up lame with a hamstring. His hamstring is gone. I think his night's going to be over completely. Oh, that's a really, really sad sign for the 35-year-old.
Massive letdown, especially for a man who started 4 of Glenwood's last 5 fixtures and has been so important in the run-in and across the course of the season. We know they've got quality on the bench, but a man with so much experience and technical quality on the ball, yeah, it doesn't look good for Adam Lowe and the Redbacks.
No, his night is over. He's being assisted by Marco Bravo Ortiz. In fact, he's going to be taken off him by Ben Inns. They want Marco to be 100% fit. So Ben Inns is going to help him to the sideline, as well as what I can assume only is the physio. Harry Inns is going to come out and have a chat to him. They might want to play a couple of minutes down to 10 men just to see if he can sort of get some feeling back into it. But I've just watched the replay back several times just then, and there's no chance. He pulled up lame after a slight change in direction. His night is done. It's so unfortunate. If the Lows are watching along, very unfortunate, very sorry that this is how the night's ended, and we wish him all the best in what is going to be a long off-season for him to recover. So I do wonder if they'll go to Alvaro Orjuela, who was sent off in his most recent game, but served his suspension, is now back for the grand final. They're still not off the pitch yet with Adam Lowe, so they can't even play the game yet. Of course, Glenwood have to avoid a press here from Polonia.
Yeah, this is where Polonia will look to go. There's there's no love lost on grand final day. They'll be looking to cut throat. And their fourth official board has been raised, so Adam Lowe has conceded. The hamstring's got nothing left to give.
I think that's actually the 39-year-old Alvaro Orjuela who said that this was the most important match he's played in a long time. So I think he is on in the 22 jersey. He is the deepest of the midfield three. You imagine that Jimenez might move a little bit higher. Just waiting for absolute confirmation. It does, in fact, look like him. He did wear glasses during the podcast. He won't be wearing that out there in the middle. It does sound like him, though. So I think Alvaro Orjuela on, the former Dundas representative, another one of the Colombian boys out there. Abbas cuts inside, battered into by Jimenez, picked up here by Lachlan Nixon, Emmanuel Aladabaye, in what is actually going to be his final match, he thinks, before he takes a year off to fully recuperate from an ACL tear he did 2 years ago when he was still a Premier Spurs representative. So he'll want to have a big one in this last one, and maybe if he has a good game, he'll stick around as well. Abbas, Michael Cullen looks to get on the ball, he doesn't. Taken off Nixon as well as he's beaten by 3. Alumi will try and wiggle his way out as it's a first touch for Orjuela. And now it's a battle of pace and attrition, which Marco Bravo Ortiz will win most times you can imagine.
Yeah, Orjuela, another mainstay apart from his suspension. Another one of the Redbacks that has played 4 of the last 5. So, like I said, there's plenty of quality on the bench for Glenwood. So Adam Lowe, it's a big loss for Redbacks, but Orjuela's not a bad man to be bringing on either.
No, I think they wanted to bring him on more to round out the game, I would have to say, to be perfectly honest with you, because they wanted to play 3 players in midfield who were sharp from last week, you could imagine. That's a very good-looking ball by Alumi's left peg to find Marco Bravo Ortiz. His strike partner is running through the middle in ins, and De La Fuente and Johnny Pickering eventually get it away in tandem there. What a move by Glenwood. They are very much in this one. Ball sent forward to Abbas. How did he recover that, De La Fuente?
Well, just read it about as quick as Benny Inns did. That run across the shoulder. Nearly caught Polonia lacking.
Michael Cullen with a pot shot at goal, and it was spilt by Ronan and then eventually claimed by Ronan Dodds.
What about the quick think from Marco Bravo? So many times he's picked up the ball in the early minutes of this match and he's tried to test out Fant, tried to dummy him one way or the other, but this time he just released it quick and caught him off guard and caught the rest of the Polonia back line out as well.
Ooh, big coming together there. Lachlan Nixon involved, wins another free kick. Does the brilliant 27-year-old with 27 goals to his name this year. To go with what he guesses is about 10 assists as well. What a campaign from the former Pons man, joining up with his best mates this year back at Polonia. As the Glenwood drum bangs, but it's Polonia who have a bit of an advantage here. They are dangerous from set pieces. We know all about that from Jacob Skibaris. Struck towards goal and it was bouncing wide, always easy to let that go past for the goalkeeper Dodds.
Both sides starting to find their rhythm a bit. But I do think Polonia have had a bit better attacking threat, or certainly more of it. But Glenwood, they're not looking too shabby themselves. As I mentioned earlier in this contest, if anyone in the PL2 has the talent and the drive to take this game to Polonia, it's going to be the Redback boys, but certainly have to sharpen their distribution out from the back. A few misplaced passes and a few heavy touches have been pounced on by Polonia.
Michael Cullen tried to put the sting in there on Jimenez, who humiliated his teammate there, and Cullen's put the feel into Inns, I do think that is. And they know how dangerous Benjamin Inns is because they quite literally said that they would be looking out for him. Michael Cullen, while he might be a technical marvel, is a physical presence to be reckoned with. He's in his prime age, 30. He is at his absolute best right now. And he put one hit hard in there on Inns, and I don't think Inns will want to run at him anytime soon again after that. Alumi delivers in, asking a lot of the keeper, De La Fuente, who spills mayhem in the box. Should be finally cleared now by Singh, I think it was.
There's a Redback down in the area. Still a really good delivery from Olami. Looks like it was Benny Inns who was collected by De La Fuente, and De La Fuente also was limping on the knee when he first came to ground. Looks like nothing more than a contact sting of sorts. In fact, no, it was Giumelli.
The former Parkley man back to his feet, back into position, will be okay. A drop ball, Ash Olumi will actually strike, well, half strike a goal. He gives it back to a grateful Marcus De La Fuente. Just plays it short to his right back being nicknamed Savvy Singh. Massive leaping header by Jake Baptiste in that number 3 jersey. Pressure by Jamelion. Olumi here now.
That's great skill from Olumi to pick up a bit of space down the right-hand side.
Jameli coming in for the second ball. Looks like Singh has got it away. Lucky Nixon takes the ball off of him, looking to facilitate play with no midfielders chasing him at all. Now it's Marco Bravo Ortiz coming back. The 32-year-old is going to find its way here to Sammy Abbas. 1-2 with his captain. Great feet. Michael Cullen steaming forward as he likes to make these diagonal runs across before delivering the perfect ball towards Emmanuel Aladabaye. Twisting, turning, told to get to his feet. He stays down in a heap. Not even a second thought to it. The referee knew exactly what he was going to give there. Strong work by Leitner, our centre ref. Although now will show concern for Emmanuel Aladabaye.
Yeah, I thought he'd just been taken down a little bit with the momentum, but perhaps a catch of the ankle or a catch of the knee has made things much worse than what they initially seemed. And who knows if this may even be the end of Emmanuel's night. Both two massive presences on the football field. Both would be a huge loss. As I said, third in the Golden Boot race this season. But, wow, it's been quite a lively start, you'd have to say, Mark.
Crazy to think that Polonia possess, well, not crazy when you consider where they finished on the table, but first and third in the Golden Boot, and the second best defence. Actually, forgive me, the best defence by 3 goals, I should say. By far the best attack. Only second to Oakville, but by far the best defence. And those games really came down to when they played up against Glenwood 3 times this season. Of course, it was 1 win each in the most recent 2, but back all the way at the start of the season, they did get the win over Glenwood with 1-0. It was David Cullen who came up with that goal that day. One of the 4 Cullen boys involved in this Polonia side. Don't freak out when you hear us use the word Cullen at some point tonight, although Shannon is injured, to be fair, so you'll only get 3 at any one time. As Ash Salumi lines one up, came off Pickering. Bravo Ortiz was threatening. De La Fuente spilt it, then claimed it.
I think that might be where Glenwood have perhaps picked up a bit of weakness from Polonia. A few late runs into the area from Benny Inns and Marco Bravo. Just looking to pick up the scraps. If De La Fuente parries it, or if the defenders aren't there first, maybe they'll have a sniff themselves.
Silly giveaway. Lockie Nixon now onto his left foot. He's capable on both. Goes to find his strike partner. Ladabaye was blocked off. Easy save by Dodds, who'll clip it up into his own hands. He was called a showboat when we first saw him last year. I should say earlier in the season, but he's showing his stuff and his technical ability with a couple of juggles just then too.
Have to say, Cameron Hayes, plenty of work this evening to do, but he's been quite impressive, the right back for Redbacks.
When you're tasked with Emmanuel Ladabaye, you have to be on song from day dot. That he has been, as Glenwood will line up a free kick. It's not going to be Alumi taking this one because it's Jimenez standing over it.
Although one thing I did note in that 1-1 draw against Parkley, the last time Glenwood had a match of the round, Hayes and Lockie Inns, both the fullbacks, love to bomb on, but perhaps a bit more caution directed from Harry Inns as the ball's flicked onto the back stick. Olami tries to catch them out, and he too looks like he's caught a late bit of contact. Back to his feet though, which is a relief for Glenwood.
a man on the short option is Marco Bravo Ortiz, but he runs away to leave Alumi, the set-piece specialist, to deliver towards the front stick, and I think it was Abbas who cleared that up and away for consecutive corners, gets a hug and a kiss from his also 18-year-old goalkeeper.
Does look like Olami, perhaps it was a stud or something to the hand. I'm sure being a boxer, he'd have a bit of wrist tape in the bag.
I'm sure he wouldn't be far from it, that's for sure. Ball delivered again, exactly the same ball. Abbas has gone up this time with his clearance. Michael Cullen scored an own goal from that side of the corner flag in a 6-1 win many moons ago now, although he got in the way of that second phase ball in. So we're sitting here on the 23-minute mark with either side yet to bring out a massive save from either goalkeeper. There's been some pot shots from distance. There's been a couple of ones where the keepers had to rush out to claim, but very, very evenly drawn so far as Lockie Nixon crosses the halfway line. He's got some options inside or behind him. He goes in front towards Ladabayo, who turns on a dime. Doesn't win the free kick, says Leitner, as Alumi's turn to strut his stuff as the number 10. And he flicks that forward. That's not the greatest pass in the world.
Well, both of the previous fixtures this season between Glenwood and Polonia have both been decided by a single goal, 3-2 and 2-1. So no doubt that staying tight at the back, and of course we'll look, both having the two best defensive records in the competition. Defence, as who was it, the great Sir Alex Ferguson said, defence wins titles. Be sure to keep things locked up at the back.
Pretty good name to reference, you know. Quite the esteemed football character. Just shy of the halfway line, Adrian Laterre squares it here to his captain, Michael Cullen. Here is Jacob Skiberis. Forward he drives. Here is Ashton Fant. Puts that ball in. Dangerous ball, Abbas. Fell in a heap as he got ahead to it. Adebayo rescues the loose ball. Goal kick given.
Great testing ball there from Fant. Abbas just reaching out for it. Not coming the other way. Was always going to be a miracle to get that thing on target. Did well to even get on the end of it. But Polonia starting to test with a few deliveries in the area.
If the 18-year-old had notched up his third first-grade goal in this fixture, it would be a real moment for him to make his career. Square pass by Skiberis. Michael Cullen is dangerous from here. Forces a sharp save low and to the right of Ronan Dodds. Polonia are turning up the fire.
Well, yeah, they've certainly liked this right side a few times. Fant and Abbas turning it over, combining with Cullen as well. Picked it out on the edge of the area. I'm sure there's a rocket or two waiting for us from Michael Cullen later on in this evening's fixture.
Good at set pieces. It's been delivered into Lachlan Nixon. He wanted goal number 28.
I believe he wasn't even marked. Lockie Nixon. Well, that's exactly right. It was Nicholas Taylor who thought that Nixon was making the run to the near post, and Nixon just stood his ground, and it ended up, well, it could have been volleyed in, but opted for the header. And again,
dead up from Michael Cullen, who finds another former Ponds man, Jacob Skiberis, back here to aid in Cox. Again, former Ponds man, Johnny Pickering, picks it up. Former Park Lee man would be tasked with shutting down another former Park Lee man in Jameli. Although he doesn't quite well, there's two young'uns, one centre back for Polonia, one right wing for Glenwood. Just looks like Polonia are starting to get the upper hand in this match, as they force the hand of the goalkeeper once now on a pretty significant occasion. They've also just got the territorial advantage in the last 5 minutes or so. Is there a goal that will come from this sustaining pressure?
Yeah, well, look, we know Polonia on paper have quality in spades, and I would say they do edge Glenwood, and you can't fight toe-to-toe with them for 90 minutes. There has to be some sort of drawback in allowing Polonia to creep into their territory. Look, they've got all 10 outfield players camped in Glenwood's half. But don't forget the pace of Benny Inns across the back. will threaten Polonia and always play on the back of the minds.
Looked like Polonia were getting forward through one of their up-and-coming 21s boys, but he slipped over the pivotal moment in national defence. There was Manjot Singh, who's playing in his first ever final, despite being a bronze medalist at a college game when he was back home in India. Oh, great feed by Lockie Nixon, who's just won a set piece just shy of the 18-yard mark. He wants a yellow card for his efforts against his oppressor. He's not going to get it. Not the time to give one even just shy of the half-an-hour mark. Who will take it? This one I can only imagine will be one man who has 2 free kick goals to his name. One just 2 weeks ago in their most recent fixture, Jacob Skibaris. Family of Pons and Rivo and Juniors, and of course Schofield Scorpions. The marketing manager, back from a dislocated shoulder just a couple of weeks ago. Is he about to have a grand final crowning moment? Crossbar and out.
Yeah, really good set piece there. Just nearly catching out Ronan Dodds. The dip was spectacular over the wall. And look, they're knocking on the door now, Polonia. And you'd have to say it really is only a matter of time before they put a decent one on target and perhaps even in the back of the net.
Glenwood come very close to their progressive football, almost coming to their undoing. It's something that's been to their upheaval this year in that they've been so good with their style of football out in the back of these young boys who have played at National Premier League level and have grown up playing a style of football, but sometimes when the pinch is on from some boys who have been there and done that, you've got to be really careful playing out the back. As Glenwood look to just get out of their own half right now. Marco Bravo-Ortiz, the furthest forward, always hasn't touched the ball in 10 minutes. That ball went out in favour of Polonia once again, so they don't escape their half as the Glenwood contingent starts to bite at the nail just a little bit, you think.
Yeah, and that is another thing, the experience factor that you have to factor in. Especially trying to play up from the back against older players who have had this grand final experience. They've got many more hours on the clock compared to this young Glenwood side.
Abbas with quick feed up against Lachlan ends. Not someone to give up easily though. Decent idea to put that ball into that area. It's going to be cleared by Alvaro Orjuela. That's going to jump over the sideline here, and it will be the first time Glenwood's made it out of their half in 5 minutes. That's a horrendous story from the person in the crowd. Minus 1,000 all up. Sent long by Ashton Fant. One easily out of the sky there by Nick Taylor. One here though by the industrious and brilliant Michael Cullen, although commentators curse, he's given it away. Inns now looking to launch one. Cullen might have to slow him down by hook or by crook. Here he comes barrelling down. A little bit of a push off the elbow, sliding challenge, fair and hard. Pickering in strong. Lovely, lovely work. Cullen, uncharacteristic.
Yeah, I have to say both sides have been quite respectful of one another, putting in pretty fair challenges. As we know, as long as this game stays a 0-0, and even if there's a goal in it, the heat will start to turn up as the night goes on.
They basically admitted to themselves and to each other that they were the two best footballing teams, a bit of a purist and elitist term if you like. But I can't say I don't disagree in terms of the aesthetic on the eye. It is good to watch these two teams play their brand of football. Here comes Polonia again. A bit of a swing and a miss there by Cammy Hayes. Out it goes. I think that will be a corner. It's got to be at least the 4th or 5th now from just that side alone. As Lachlan Nixon leaves that, I think I would imagine Jacob Skibaris to take. Ronan Dodds is going to be really firm here. Zonal marking 3 on the 2 on the edge of the box. It doesn't matter now because the ball's coming in. It's moved over everybody. There's Aiden Coxon's up there as well.
It'll be a throw-in as well. Shouts of box, but Polonia didn't close them down quick enough. They've won it back anyway.
The Spanish-speaking boys trying to play their way out of that, but unfortunately they've just been boxed in by this brilliantly pressing side. And this might actually just help them shift the momentum a little bit now, I think. Because Alvaro Orjuela is going to stay down. He's going to attract the attention of the referee. He's going to allow Polonia to drop back as Glenwood just really creep their way up the field, and they might just play along the I think at this point now, with their backs against the wall and their backs against Polonia, getting to half-time with a lead, well, with the game still in the balance at 0-all, will probably be a really decent start for them. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, look, I'd have to say the longer that they can keep this 0-all, the longer they're going to frustrate Polonia. And coming into this as the underdogs, as long as you can keep that deadlock or even get a goal up yourself, you're going to frustrate the champions who, look, they're the ones that need to come and show to the PL1 boys what they're all about. And Glenwood, they're doing well.
Pretty much former Pons reserve grade players will go next year up in PL1. A lot more experience, 2 years further into their prime for a lot of them. That's a conversation for next year though, and we'll put them to the test and we'll chat to them next year on our podcast, I'm sure. Anyway, De La Fuente gets his first touch to keep himself warm in a while. He sends it up away into the night sky and past the halfway line towards Lockie Nixon, who flips it behind him. Living dangerously with that high foot there of Jake Baptiste. Michael Cullen looks for a ball. It's brilliant in at least the planning stage. The execution just slightly off, but so impressive off his weaker, I say, left peg. Really weaker. He's more of a stronger foot than a weaker foot. So corner from one side of the pitch to the other, out of De La Fuente's hands, off of Nixon. Adebayo to Cullen, and now we have danger. Roaring, flat ball in. And somehow missed everyone there. Have a shot. Have a shot. Locked. Good save, Dodds. That's really good hands. Can he spring something here? Low and flat he goes. Alumi charging in was Singh. They've actually come away with it though. Play it quickly, Gemelli, and that was the chance. All right, Jimenez trying to recycle things. Hayes with one option ahead of him, and Alumi was tracked down, hunted down by Laterre, I think. Dropped back here to the captain, Michael Cullen, will return from injury so far he's had from distance now, always going wide. Nice.
Again, that looks to be where Glenwood are going to lose or win this fixture. Just how quickly can they turn it on the break? Benny Inns, we know he's got pace, but if you're not releasing it early enough, Polonia are going to come and swarm in midfield, scramble in defence, win the numbers battle and go the other way.
In my honest and humble opinion, I don't necessarily identify Glenwood as a transition team, but that's what they're being forced to do. And you know what? The signs haven't been too bad. But look at the way Marco Bravo Ortiz is here in the middle of the pitch. You won't be able to see him on your screen, but Marco's basically calling for them to send it long. It's actually come towards him here. And now there's a chance. Alumi, oh, he shanked it. Sent it into the bunker, unfortunately. And now forward, Polonia come again. Cameron Hayes out of position. Aladabaya pulls the right centre-back out of place. Is there space opening up in the middle? He's being hounded. A lane change in yes to S. Michael Cullen! No, it's always coming wide. Thought for a second that he was about to burst this grand final open. Quick goal kick taken. Aladabaya stayed down for the second time in this game. Skipperis goes down. Cullen is strong on Alumi. I think we might actually just call up this game for the issue to Aladabaya. No, he's back to his feet now. Hope the referee notices that. At least had a communication with him through his device. Feet the tear, then taken off him though. Alumi, the facilitator, the perpetrator, Marco Bravo.
Really good challenge there from Cox. Bravo managed to get around him. There's panic stations at the back for Polonia, but dependable man. He's played centre-back all of this season. We know he's been used as something of a utility over the years, but he's really made the centre-back his rock this season.
Only playing his first years of Premier League ever at the age of 13, now 31 in these last 2 years. Absolutely awesome achievement. Here's Alumi with his back to goal. Chance here, opening up for Jimenez. First season at the club, used to play 3rd division of professional football in Colombia, has 6 assists to his name, no goals. As the drum bangs again in favour of Glenwood.
Geez, 37 minutes played already. It has flown by.
As he flies past the halfway line, Aladabaya is now flying in behind in lane 4 of the pitch. He doesn't really want to be there. He had to cut it back onto his stronger right foot, now back onto his left to try and cut Hayes in half. In the end, the play was cut out.
A really good recovery from Hayes. had plenty of work to do and has done pretty well to keep the explosive winger quiet this evening.
Hayes and Baptiste, but particularly Hayes is someone who I identified in the first game. I had the pleasure of watching him, and then as someone who I really like the look of for his attacking versatility and ability. But tonight he showed a defensive nous that cannot ignore. Uprising highest was Jake Baptiste there. Now Polonia will shuffle it from one side of the pitch to the other. Forward comes Aiden Cox. Dangerous pass. Bravo. Here comes Marco. Shirt pulled by Fans. Has given away a couple of yellow cards this year. If he can play on and find this looping ball out wide towards Gemelli, they could be on here. And he couldn't get passing. There should be a yellow card when this player stopped for the challenge that went in on Marco Bravo. I think there should be a yellow there, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, didn't see anything from either the lino or the centre referee to indicate that they saw anything wrong with it. And you'd have to say Ashton Fant certainly gotten away with that one. With Cranford standing around doing not much. De La Fuente.
With happy looks from sides out of this one, but in transition they still looked good. Bit of a miscommunication there. Now they have to bustle back in defence. Forward comes Lachlan Nixon. Set some records this year that might take a couple of decades to be broken with his goal scoring. 25 goals scored in his opening 12 fixtures was something unbeknownst to the rest of the competition. Never before seen such prowess in front of goal. Fans is lucky to not be the first caution man of the day. Abbas has just springboarded his way onto the next Olympics team with that kind of leap. Great touch of the sky. Pickering slid in. That was so dangerous. He's come away perfectly fine though. Cullen switches. Picked up here by Lachlan. Back we go to Nick Taylor. Visible to the lips of the referee for a moment there. I don't know exactly why, but Alumi turned into danger, then was fortuitous to get away with it. But what about that for a pass? Fans, brilliant. He's hurt himself though, or he's just adjusting his shin pad. One of the two, hopefully the latter. Abbas batted it by Alumi.
Really starting to get congested in midfield, and one thing I'm noting, Glenwood, they are trying to play that progressive football as you mentioned, but they're really being forced to just go long. The cutout from Polonia has been so good to just scramble and make life difficult in the midfield.
In fact, that jump's blowing and banging for Polonia, by the way. Not the Glenwood boys. Glenwood fans have got to raise their levels quick. Just as their boys probably do need to on the pitch too. It's been a long time since the last grand final win for Polonia. Obviously they'd rather be doing it in the division where the history of the club deserves. Suggest they deserve it at least. State League side, 1949, founded the club in the area. Right, big job here from Ronan Dodds, but I think this would be more of a delivery than a hit at goal. Jacob Skibaris goes low, good bounce. Eventually it's away here to Gemelli being closed down by the free kick taker and Abbas. Touched by Aiden Cox. Switch from one side to the other now. Polonia is sadly seen.
Look at the numbers on the right hand side. Nixon just couldn't get the switch on through Abbas, but there's plenty of numbers lurking on the back stick.
Feels like a case of if, when, not if, I should say, in terms of Polonia going forward. Again, they play out from the back. Again, the press comes in. Again, it's cleared a little bit of anywhere will do, although they've actually been able to keep it through Marco Bravo Ortiz's fantastic composure with the forehead. Pass to Laudabaye, well done Cameron Hayes, this is what I was talking about all pre-game. Forward they come again, Hayes continues on, is he brave enough, this 23-year-old?
Look, one of the first runs that Hayes has dared to take on and leave Emmanuel Adabale in the dust. If they can try and combine Hayes and Gemelli, it's really where they're going to cause a lot of problems for Manjot Singh and
Marco,
Johnny
bravo.
Pickering.
Ortiz, forgive me for interrupting. I just couldn't help but notice that he was starting to make his mark. Forgive me.
No, not a problem. It's really, well, seems to be how Glenwood are coming there, sort of going, and then just snapshots.
It's amazing how quickly.
Yeah, very difficult player to sort of read and understand what he's going to do next, because we know he's got such good technical ability himself, but the ability to link up with Benny Inns just sort of plays on the mind, especially of Ashton Fett, but he's done pretty well considering the quality he's up against.
Great touch off the head there of Sami Abbas. Another one of the former BDSFA AYL representatives, corner one. You can hear the announcements of halftime going around the grounds right now. The old women's and the men's over 35 games and over 30s games respectively are starting to finish up for the first half, so we're getting close. 43 minutes has been eclipsed. Good looking ball in, but it's towards the edge of the box though, and then struck towards goal, and you can just always tell from Cullen that was going over. But the chances are coming, and they're not finding the back of the net.
Yeah, well, another 90 seconds before stoppage time, as De La Fuente still looks like that knee is playing around a little bit after that collision with Giomelli about the 25th minute or so. Glenwood will really look to just get in at half-time at 0-0 and see where they're at. They haven't really been able to hold a candle to Polonia in terms of possession, but look,
bounce.
It's 0-0 and that's all that matters at the moment.
Picks up on, and he's got to try and compete with the goal line here, where with the hands there, one or two appeals. Not even considered by Jack Leitner. Although, from one end to the other though, they have a corner to take. Cusp of half-time right now. A goal here, obviously the opening goal in any game will shift the momentum of the outcome, but you feel a goal right on half-time when 3 games between these two this year have ended with a 1-goal differential. First goal would be critical. Flip towards goal, ends, was threatening. Ashalumi! Overcooked.
Yeah, it was always quite difficult chasing out to it and also trying to snap it off the right. Did well to get some decent power on it, but it's always rising over the net.
Look at the watch by Jack Leitner, our referee. We are in fact 3 seconds now into borrowed time. I can't imagine there'll be much other than what happened with Adam Lowe. The Bass threatening on Nick Taylor, but he's done well, the 20-year-old. Such young defenders in the centre there for Glenwood. Lachlan Inns and Hayes are 24 and 23 respectively. It is a really young backline. Marco Bravo Ortiz turning on the style.
How about the skill from Marco?
Play advantage, please. Well, it must be all in the name. Ash.
Well, I've got to say, I think Ash has just stripped himself of set-piece duties. He's had a few decent deliveries, but they haven't really been up to par, especially on grand final day. You really need to be hitting your man every time.
Feels like he might be rushing things a little bit when it comes to the dead ball. Just take your time on it, Ash. I know you're only 19. Settle into the set piece. All over the top. Is there something brewing here? Needs to be defended well with the keeper out of position. Ronan Dodds. Look at the way that Jake Baptiste forward.
Lockie Nixon.
This place to life.
Yeah, Lockie Nixon thought he'd been fouled. Looks pretty clean to me between Jake Baptiste and Lockie Nixon.
Me too, upon reflection, upon looking at that back. Kind of can't believe actually that the yellow card's been dished out there, but I've not even done my level 4 refereeing course. Just a kid with a lefty. Right, this might be the last moments of this first half. Whistle to the lips of Jack Leitner. Gemelli, he points to the half Way line, we are at half-time, and like we were about an hour and a half ago, we are deadlocked at 0-0 at the commencement, at the end, I should say, of the first passenger play. I'm sorry to you second, my friend Bo, but I think it's been a game that Polonia have had their finger on the pulse of, but Glenwood have just worked themselves into the game via transitions, via some good hits on the counter, and they are threatening. Yes, it might be all territory for those who are wearing white tonight. Yes, it might be the better of the chances that are those to white tonight, but Glenwood are nowhere near out of this. Do you tend to agree?
Yeah, I look, as long as it stays 0-0, I think Polonia are going to start creeping further and further up the field, and that's going to invite the likes of Marco Bravo and Benjamin Inns in behind in the second half. Plenty to talk about and plenty to break down from both sides, and I'm sure they'll come out firing for the second 45.
Look at this, Ashalumi doing the Benzema, and he's got an issue with that left hand. You were right when you picked it out. He's got a tiny, tiny concern there. He's just showed it off to a friend there. But we're going to be back in about 12 minutes or so. We'll do a bit of unpacking. We'll discuss what we want to present to you before we come back for the second half. Mark and Bo here at halftime. Glenwood and Polonia deadlocked at 0-0 at the break of this PL2 first grade grand final season.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of night 1 of the 2024 Blacktown Premier League Final Series and the greater spectacle 60-plus grand finals happening at this wonderful precinct over the next 3 days. It is going to be, and it already has been, frankly, a fantastic night. It's been jovial in the stands. It's been hotly contested out there on the pitch, and I'm sure with the celebrations we can hear coming from all around the place, there have been some great goals scored everywhere. Bo Clements here with me, who filled in for me while I was, off in Europe having a great time, who watched, of course, these teams play while we were away, and he knows all about what makes a good grand final winning team. Bo, obviously, will rehash what we talked about at the ending of the first half. Glenwood looking good in transition, but they're being limited to playing that sort of way. You mentioned that you think that Polonia are going to keep putting more pressure on and moving up the field. At what point do you think we're going to see a goal? Who do you think might be the one to bag it?
Look, I mean, I'm always a big fan of the midfield screamer, and I think if anyone's got it in the locker, it has to be either Ash Alumi or the big skipper, Michael Cullen. He looks like he can put on a shot that'll rip a hole in the net or end up in the baseball field across the road, one of the two.
Last year, Glenwood, in a match of the round, found themselves down a goal thanks to Michael Cullen. Now being talked to, by the way, by Henryk Moisa, a Polish international representative and former Polonia player back in their state league days. Not a bad person to be getting your tactical nous and final bits of advice off before you go out to do battle in the final half of your days in Premier League 2. Alade Baye has gone down twice under a couple of challenges. Cameron Hayes has locked him up pretty well so far. Jacob Skiveris has obviously had some great free kicks. Ash Alumi's, speaking of free kicks, looked okay when he's had the ball at his feet, but when he's had time to think about it, maybe from the set pieces we already made comment about how the 19-year-old might be just rushing things just a little bit. You actually suggested he might relinquish his set piece duties. I think he's got a couple more in him. The faith he's been shown this year to jump up from 21s has been pretty astounding. Obviously, and Ash Alumi is a guy who's picked up, just again, 19 years old, in his second year back playing football. Picked up, 7 yellows, but a goal against Oakville last week to really round things out. And he's their second top goal scorer behind Marco Bravo Ortiz. I can also reveal to you, by the way, he is actually the highest points scorer in terms of the Player of the Year votes. I can't tell you where he ranks among other players, but he is actually above Marco Bravo Ortiz from the referee 3-2-1 vote system. So Ash Alumi has really impressed people this year, even though he's not, the top goal scorer. So we can expect a big second half from him. And of course, as we know, he scored a lot of goals late in games, Ash Alumi. On 4 occasions, he scored a winner or an equaliser this year. And of course, he scored in the 99th minute of added on time to notch up a winner against, I would suggest, 99th minute against Oakville some time ago. So, Ash Alumi, never fear, the Alumi is here. Let's just see how they look out the second half. Now, the reason why we came back so early, ladies and gentlemen, apologies to bring you back to your screen so early, is because Glenwood, well, they're still in their sheds right now, but Polonia were out here. Look like they had the bone to pick now. They're the ones moving the ball around, trying to keep warm, even though it's not really that cold of a night. Bo, any other observations you'd like to pick up that you saw in the first half that you might want to sort of rattle on about?
Yeah, I certainly think Jake Baptiste and Cameron Hayes have done really well to snuff out Lockie Nixon and Emmanuel Adelabai. Look, I mean, Lockie Nixon, he's had a few chances, but for a man that's so clear in the Golden Boot race, he's been kept relatively quiet. But you'd have to say the other end of the field, the other one that we were talking about and waxing lyrical, was Marco Bravo, and Ashton Fance, only 19 years old, has put the clamps on the Chilean superstar. But, the thing with the youngsters is, can they maintain that mental edge for 90 minutes? The experience of older players on both sides, I think, will start to creep out as the legs start to tire.
A lot of these boys up from 21s, a relatively successful 21s campaign for the Polonia boys, which is good because last year they didn't actually have a 21 system because they were relying upon Newbury's before Newbury had a full team themselves this year. So the reliance upon youth has been a welcome thing. It probably actually hindered them last year only having a first and reserve grade. They weren't able to dip into their youth, and obviously Polonia have a pretty good history of producing good young players, especially with these coaches now at the helm. So Glenwood have made their way back out. The referees are back out onto the pitch. Jack Clayton is holding the ball right there in the middle. You can see a lot of the BDSFA AYL boys actually here supporting some of their old teammates, their old mates, which is fantastic to see. Looks like unchanged 11s for both. Of course, the only change we have seen so far was a forced one when Adam Lowe unfortunately came off and Alvaro Orjuela came on probably earlier than he anticipated, but probably exactly the time he wanted to come on, which was as early as possible. So the second half about to get underway. Polonia will now run right to left across your screen. Let's see what we're in for in this second half.
Yeah, seeing as well as the Polonia boys came out early, Marcus De La Fuente again just looking to stretch the problem out. I'm not sure whether it's the calf or the knee, but it's not going away at all. But hopefully the Polonia back line will keep his job as minimal as possible.
21's eligible for the next 2 and a bit years is De La Fuente, which is fantastic. The next 2 seasons, in fact, 3 seasons, if my memory serves me correctly, with the date of his birth, which is so awesome for Polonia.
Rare mistake there from Hayes being caught out. But Baptiste wins it back.
Oh, illegal. Adebayo wants the yellow card to go the right back's way because he's probably going to fancy a couple more chances running directly at the right back if he is cautioned formally. Come the drums and Polonia are back on song straight away. Michael Cullen is in there. Is he going to be the one to get up towards the front post? It was Skibberus who wanted a third free kick for the season. It wasn't to be. And that's, ooh, a shonky clearance.
Yeah, Bravo was on his bike and did well to track back just to put Ashton Fant under pressure. But they've turned over possession again. There's quite a number of times in the first half where Glenwood just looked to rush things. The press of Polonia in midfield sort of cut out their idea of playing that build-up, that slow distribution. Tried going long and they've just turned it over on numerous occasions.
Hey, look, I know we're 90 seconds into this second half, but it's been more of the same with Polonia with their high press on Glenwood as they look to keep them boxed in their own half defensively. But you do wonder if the frustrations go on and Polonia want to win this in normal time before we have to go into the 10 minutes of added on time, maybe they'll put a couple of numbers forward and that will help them on transition. But look what Glenwood are being forced to. It's more of the same, Barry, that we've seen in the first half.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they've probably got a nice private room booked at the Bella Vista Hotel to shoot off to quickly after this. So they'll want to get this wrapped up in the 90s. Michael Cullen just bursts through midfield, picks it up again off Orjuela, and pokes it through.
There was a shirt pull there on Adebayo, and if Cameron Hayes had been booked already, he might have just been off there, but that wasn't noticed either. There's about to be a yellow card dished out here. Glenwood looking a little bit shaky at the back. Maybe not shaky, maybe it's just the brilliance of Cullen and co.
What about the save from Dodds? Made himself big. Came in a bit of an unconventional one, ended up just laying sideways and blocked off both corners. And Alvaro Orjuela putting an end to Polonia's attack, but still plenty of work to do in the area. As Jacob Skibberus stands over the in-swinger. I'll bet Michael Cullen will be the target. So he'll look to lose the run of Baptiste in the mix.
So Skibberus might actually leave this for Lockie Nixon here, who might try and pile drive this a goal and rip the net in half. It's going to be Lockie Nixon. I think he's going to hit this one. Lachlan Nixon hits it into the wall hard. Trickles out for a throw. What a moment in the game. Best chance of it.
What about the run, though, from Michael Cullen, the big man on the big occasion? Got a bit fortunate there. The deflection off Orjuela kept his run going, but was able to just burst through the sea of Redbacks.
Fant puts that throw into a dangerous area on the edge of the box to Skibberus, and that's always rising, that one, unfortunately for him.
Already looking for another ball, Ronan Dodds. Surely we've got a few ball boys in store for tomorrow, Mark.
Well, you trust the PL1 boys to put their shots a little bit closer to the target, hey?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I do have to say, though, last year, that reserve grade grand final, there were a few flying, maybe knocking on the door of some of the Giants' locker rooms.
Eventually rendered 5 goals in that game there, so an ultra entertaining opener to the grand final of the PL1 first grade.
Yeah, what a game it was, and Blacktown Workers will be there again tomorrow, looking to go back to back.
Covered by Mason Hills and David McDonald. Sent away by Ronan Dodds. Picked up here by Pickering. Picks it out to front of Ladabaye in acres of space. Shimmy and a shake, but given away to Jimenez. Alumi back to goal, living very dangerously. Just about got his body in the way though. Ladabaye stuck on foot out. Glenwood continue on through Hayes, and that's a silly giveaway. Cullen now comes forward. There's a right back out of position. Another silly giveaway in the middle of the park. Gemelli. Important call this one. Throw in for Polonia.
Really good body check there from Skiveris. Just to shake Gemelli off. Turn possession back over. Polonia, they're looking to play a bit more attacking, but they're coming unstuck.
Nick Taylor with a monster sliding challenge. It's his turn to have the fans back him up. Listen to that contingent of players supporting them on the sidelines.
Great maturity there as well from Olami. Saw Cullen rushing in the back and just rode the contact. Gives the Redbacks a breather. It does look like he has lost free kick duties, has Ash Olami.
Sent forward by Jimenez. One in the air by Singh. Not the greatest header away. Pickering opted for the right-footed clearance rather than off the head. Ben Inns, who we haven't seen touch the ball at all in this second half yet. Oh, heinous challenge there. Clearly a free kick. Enough to warrant a yellow. They say no.
Yeah, in a really dangerous position as well. No malice in it from Adrian Leder. Looks like Ash will pick this one up.
Well, if he scores this, not just in the context of this game, but from this far out, the roof is going to raise to heights we've never seen before.
Oh, he's not even... he hasn't gotten this one either. Luke Giamelli off the left peg.
He's got 4 goals to his name this year. It'd be a great time to make it a 5th. No, it's always going wide, unfortunately.
Yeah, neither tested De La Fuente or invited the run of Benny Inns in behind. Can't have both, I'm afraid.
Man formerly known as Parnell parading forward, but he's not deemed to be knocked off the ball illegally, as Glenwood have a bit of territory here, and it forces Cox into a bit of a stressed, a bit of a rushed clearance.
Yeah, the luck's starting to tilt back towards Glenwood. Giamelli a bit fortunate there.
Off to the chest. The 29-year-old Jimenez, as Giamelli looks to turn into something of a creative winger. Can he whip one in? It's been cleared away there by Pickering. Right, and now Abbas. Lachlan Nixon square pass, a bit under hit though. Skiveris has just copped one to his right foot here. As long as it's not the shoulder, he'll be okay. Nixon, by hook or by crook, comes away with it. Emmanuel Aladabaye away from him. Free kick one though in his favour this time. I tell you what, Lachlan Nixon, in all the grand finals he's ever been to in his life, and he's been to many in his 27 years, whenever he has scored in the semi-final leading to the grand final, which he did 2 weeks ago, by the way, against Oakville, he has always won the grand final. So history tells us he will be on the victor's side tonight. Streaks are there to be broken though, aren't they?
Yeah, well, Glenwood did. Just wait for this delivery.
By Dodds, it's been punched away. Glenwood did, you were saying?
Well, Glenwood did beat Polonia, so too did Oakville in that 4-match run where they were just really looking to reassert themselves and find their identity. But coming into the finals. Tucked Oakville away pretty neatly. And now have the chance to flip the script again here tonight. Go 0 from 2 to 2-0 at the back end of the season.
Blacktown, lucky not to be cautioned. It's up here by Lockie Nixon. Searching ball to find a bass. No one to aim for in the middle though. He's going to have to hold it up. That's a big task with that many numbers closing you down. But the 18-year-old is a wing wizard. Can he square it? Nixon!
How has he not managed to find their target from there? Beautiful work from Abbas to just hold it up. Have Nicholas Taylor and Lockie Inns backpedaling. Nixon just made his way into the area, put off balance by Ojuela, and tried to just rip it into the top corner, the near post.
My word, that was close.
Glenwood they're doing well at the back to scramble when needed, but living dangerously, you can only get away with that for so long.
Polonia knocking on that door through the brilliance of a man like this. Here he is again, Lachlan looking to make amends. It's been taken off him. They'll recycle it though. At what point are Polonia going to go to their bench? Might Glenwood go to their bench? Abbas, brilliant. Cullen looked to pile drive it to goal. Abbas, post! Ball still in play. Cullen closes him down. Polonia, well, they've not scored again. Glenwood have come away unscathed somehow. It's a mad tussle for the ball now. It's becoming a bit more physical out there. This is great to watch. Ben Ince frustrated, not just because the free kick went against him, but because he's probably just not touched the ball in the opening nearly quarter of an hour of this second half. It must be infuriating. Here he is.
Yep, I have to say the same as well. Marco Bravo getting his first touch in what has really been forever. Hasn't seen too much of it in the second half, let alone the entire hour that we've elapsed through.
Not sure what Alumi was aiming for here, but if Cameron Hayes can keep this in, it won't be the worst idea. He couldn't, unfortunately.
And Hayes has got to not get caught out here.
He's done more than barrel back in defence. Massive hit on Bay, which has come away with both studs were raised there on Jimenez, but he's come away with it. Surging ball to Gemelli. Oh, a silly giveaway. De La Fuente claims. Did it touch his head? There was a touch on the head by Gemelli. Is that what they're calling it?
Back pass, it seems, from Ashton Fant.
So we're going to have an indirect shot. Oh, I think he's... Ooh, that's a tight call. I'm not going to say anything. But this is the first time, I think, in Match of Their Own history that we're about to have an indirect free kick in the box.
And on grand final day, no less. It's just what you love about Blacktown football, isn't it, Mark?
Have a guess. Marco Bravo Ortiz or Ash Alumi, they're two best players. Some would say by a long shot, with a real chance. All but one of Polonia's boys back. This would explode Blacktown Football Park Field 1 into something very, very loud. Here we go. We came too early and now played and struck and in! It's Alumi! It's Ash Alumi to open it in the grand final. Time ever an indirect free kick in the box has been given. First time ever it's been converted. And Glenwood in the grand final, charged, supercharged by their old 21s, are up 1-0 and they love it. Bo, what a moment.
Well, yeah, really against the run of play. We thought their chance was going to come off the counter-attack, and you'd have to say it somewhat has. Catching Ashton Fant, bit of a controversial decision. The back pass, which De La Fuente went to ground to collect. And that run with Ashton Fant rushing off the line has just created that gap. I believe it was actually Felix Jimenez who travelled it through the line and it just snuck in.
So who's claimed it? Whose ball was it?
I was watching back at the replay. I believe it was Felix Jimenez, but look, Ash Olomi's going to take it himself.
Well, this game has just gone up a notch. Alumi sliding in pretty heinously. He didn't make contact though, so on we go. We're going to confirm the goal score for you in a moment. You're right, it did look like Jimenez, so Jimenez is going to claim the goal in the grand final.
Ash Olami running off and celebrating in the corner like he'd just done it himself. But plays with his heart on his sleeve, Ash Olami. As Glenwood have got to ride this scare that Polonia are starting to take to them. Brilliant turn from Giamelli, playing with a lot more confidence now that they're a goal up.
Would you believe that that was Daniel Jimenez's first goal of the season? His first goal for Glenwood comes in the grand final. Listen to this place.
If you're going to get one in the year, you might as well cash it in on the big day. In front of so many people here at Blacktown Football Park and being live streams all across Australia and I'm sure back home in South America as well.
Now, real concern goes to one of the Glenwood boys. I think that might be Lockie Ince, who's actually carrying a sprained ankle injury right now, down on the far side. My apologies to the Jimenez clan watching along right now from wherever you are in the world, not picking up on your goal scorer in the big moments. In a moment of madness, it was missed.
Yeah, kind of interesting here, all the Glenwood boys coming out to grab drinks and Polonia holding their shape. Perhaps the intensity that Polonia's kept them at really starting to test the legs. Still half an hour left. Into the premiers, or the minor premiers, and the promoted Polonia Rams have something in store in the final third of the game. We've seen Sammy Abbas and Lockie Nixon come agonisingly close.
It seems crazy to think that Polonia might not find a way to win this game, but when the games have been won by either of these two teams this year, it's been done by one goal. So this first goal was oh so important, especially with just half an hour to go. But half an hour is a really, really long time in football. So let's see what Polonia have, because they have nothing else to lose. They've already achieved what they need to achieve. They just want to show the rest of the world and the lot watching on right now, including the likes of Ibby Sweden watching his old former mates right now of the former Ponds boys, and see what they can do in PL1. Massive challenge in there on Pickering, who hits the deck. Emmanuel Aladabaya cuts back. Hayes again got the better of him. Turning is Aladabaya. Left-footed pass across the face, almost an own goal. Ooh.
Really good turn there from Aladabaya. Hayes trying to stick to him as close as possible, but Emmanuel able to turn on a dime and open up that half a yard. A desperation there from Baptiste to not see it goalward. Nearly put it in himself.
Corner about to be delivered in. It's an in-swinger again, and it's been cleared by the Glenwood defence so far. Punched away by Dodds, and then on the follow-up almost singing about a goal. This is ferocious football at its brilliant Friday night best.
Still looks like Lockie Inns on the field. No changes yet to be made beyond that initial swap for Adam Lowe and Alvaro Orjuela by Harry inside. Polonia still happy to stick with the initial 11 that they kicked off with.
Lanabaya turning, trying to get past Hayes again. He's actually got the better of him this time. Goes down. Free kick's going to be given. Oh, but look where he was. Look where he was, and Aladabaya can't believe it. Some big decisions haven't gone the way of both these two sides tonight, but Aladabaya in that moment felt he was about to tear down on goal and unleash a shot. He doesn't hurt himself. For the third time he goes down. The third time, luckily, though, he gets back up.
Yep, he is going to need a serious ice bath when he gets home tonight. Has just been whacked into tomorrow. Non-stop from this back line, trying to cut him down. We know how lethal he is on the attack.
I'm not sure what the state of Aladabaya's ACL is these days, so of course this is his retirement, or somewhat retirement game. He's going to come back after a bit of a rest. He can take next year off. And he's certainly feeling the pinch. This is Jacob Skiberis again. Needs to find a third free kick of the year. Hits it towards goal, crossbar for the second time. Offside flag raised, and everyone can take a breath.
Big hand there from Dodds to flick it onto the crossbar. Nearly caught him out.
Glenwood
kind of counting down the moments at the end of this game. The problem is that there's about 27 of them left to come. There's a long time left to go in this game. How long can they sustain this pressure? Second best equal defence this year with 30 goals conceded from 21 league games. Not a terrible record by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, well, I mean, quite interestingly, we see some games, I mean, Oakville in the reserve grade as well, sort of played a bit more reserved, and they did have the 2-goal cushion, which sort of did warrant them sitting a bit further back. But Glenwood have already been doing that. They're already sitting back and soaking up this Polonia pressure, so they're not really changing anything. They've got the goal, and they're doing well to snuff out Polonia so far.
Since that goal's gone in, yes, it's been a very small amount of time, but again, it's been all Polonia. But they're not going to do anything in terms of goal scoring with balls into the box like that, unfortunately. Need to shape up really quick.
Giamelli has his pocket picked by Fance.
Well done by two youngsters on the flanks. As Cullen gets involved again, pushes over Alumi. Those two have had a great couple of tussles tonight. Ball over the top. It looks like it's overhit, but Abbas is quick. Dodds is quicker.
Yeah, the spin nearly holding the football up for Sami Abbas, who has got lightning feet to burst in behind. And yep, just Ronan Dodds read that superbly.
As did Singh in that moment there, but the header was again overhit.
Marco Bravo wanting the ball down the line to his feet. Hasn't really seen much of it this afternoon.
Alumi turning. Wide goes Ohuela. That's better by Giamelli, but Fence quicker than him. Wants a free kick, not going to get it. There's the Polonia right there. Now, with him out of position, Inns desperate to impact the game. Wants a free kick, he's impacted the game. There's a little chat with Fant there, just a year between those two. Both the youngsters themselves. So there's a change being made. Lockie Inns, who bravely made his way. No, actually, Emmanuel Aladabaya. It's going to be a Polonia sub, not a Glenwood sub. So off goes Manny, who's really battled through the pain barrier, not just tonight, but this season. His season now formally over. Who to come on? So in the 35 jersey for Polonia, off the bench, as this ball's put in towards the back stick, Glenwood headed towards goal. It's been pushed away as Glenwood looked to recover. Oh, a silly giveaway, straight into the action. And then a brave header away by Ohuela. He said this means a lot to him. He's proven it there. Just waiting to confirm the number 35 for Polonia for you. Not actually a number registered on the team sheet. We will follow up with you as soon as possible as Dodds clears that away.
Still plenty of bodies in the box for Polonia as they go to the back stick.
Well, a free kick's going to be given here for an impediment on the crosser.
Yeah, it was Jacob Skiberis. I mean, there wasn't any physical contact with Skiberis, so I'm not sure if maybe it came off the forearm when the delivery was made, but...
Just confirming, by the way, the number 35 is Rahul Sahadevan, making his match of the round debut in a grand final. Combination of Frezzi's required after. Ooh, and the Skippers!
Again, Dodds nearly caught out by Skiberis, but has done so well commanding his area. He's kept Glenwood's lead intact. As Hayes looks to come out from the back. And that
fatigue's passed, but it's worked out just about. Alumi, as many are fans here watching it tonight, loving that. Hayes again being closed down by Sahadevan, who's looked good in his opening moments.
Alumi now trying to turn distributor. Fox stood tall. Singh jumped up. Alumi in strong on Later. Later again. Gets it under control. Beaten to it by the man who's won this game tonight so far for them.
Yeah, have to say the tired legs are starting to emerge for Glenwood. Ash Olami, not tired, but certainly came off second best in that challenge in the air with Later. But who have we got on the ground? Jimenez, the goal scorer, with a bit of cramp. Hayes as well.
Are we seeing the effects of a week off for these Polonia boys?
Yeah, well, Harry Inns did say they've had to do it the hard way, and even though it was 4-0 last week, Ash said Oakville did take them nearly all the way. And just that freshening up, I personally do think that playing every game week in, week out does give you that mental edge coming into it, but at the end of the day, if your legs give out, doesn't matter how mentally tough you are. If you can't run, you can't run.
We're seeing that right now with Alumi and the goal scorer himself, Daniel Felix Jimenez. Glenwood right now on the cusp of, I think at the start of the year, what they would have said was an unprecedented grand final appearance, perhaps win. This has been a thoroughly enjoyable contest so far, and there should still be about 25 minutes of it left. I know it says 70 minutes on the clock, but I can imagine a lot of time can be added on in the coming moments.
Yeah, Polonia losing in that prelim last year against Oakville, and Glenwood, well, they were out without a shot, 6th. Only 4 wins in 2023 and have turned that right around.
Well, Jimenez's night is done. He is in a world of hurt. He has such a long way to trudge back to the technical area by legs. He's forced to go off on this short side, being helped by Glenwood's physio, forgive me. This is going to be a long walk back for him. So a change forced. The Glenwood boys. I think that would be Robert Gibbous. If I'm 100% confirmed in the 10 jersey, I would say that that's the correct name. Yes, it is in fact Robert Gibbous, whose family's watching along right now as well. Seen them appear in our chats. Pumped forward, Marco Bravo Ortiz. We've got the assist for the grand final winning goal so far, but might that change now with Sammy Abbas with all this youthful spring in his step coming forward. But again, Glenwood stand firm. Here is Gibbous in the 10. Pumped forward to the top goal scorer this year. Well stood firm by Michael Cullen, Captain Cullen. Needs to be courageous, Cullen, in these last 20 minutes of the season. Nutmeg pass. Adrian Later tees it up. Deflection! Crossbar! A third time! Offside flag raised. Unbelievable!
Wow, how close were we to an equaliser? Later let one fly. Baptiste put a foot in, trying to block these shots. Looked like it just clipped off the knee and nearly caught what certainly had Dodds caught out. Wrong-footed, in fact. Pounced.
This feels unfair. Bro, this feels unfair. A third crossbar hit.
Well, yeah, certainly Polonia have really dominated. They've camped themselves in the Glenwood half. And the Redbacks, like the animal that they represent, they're just burrowed in their little corner and making a home for themselves in this defensive end.
Big tackle Baptiste, missed by Taylor. Abbas threatening Lockie Nixon. Oh, handball! Huge call. Polonia are almost out of the technical area. A huge shout. Have a look. Have your verdict.
You're getting less trouble than me.
Well, I mean, the arm is raised, but it is sort of tucked right next to the chest.
There you go.
Look, it's one of those ones where I feel like if it was given, you can't really complain about it, but if it's not, yeah, it's a bit of a 50-50, I'd say.
Wow. 3 crossbar hits. And a couple of moments where they may look at this and say, on another day, Gemelli burrowing down. Singh's been fouled. Surely Singh's been fouled there. Glenwood come forward through Benin, struck a goal, took a touch. Well, I'm going to have to say, surely Singh was fouled in the process there by Gemelli.
Yeah, Gemelli has just bundled him into the grounds, and I'm not sure, he looked a bit awkward coming down. It looks like he's been given the elbow to the foreheads on the way down.
Almost to break the fall, it seemed.
Bit of a state of origin tackle there from Gemelli.
Gemelli kind of sounds like Suoliti, but a whole lot less pain, I hope.
Manjot Singh hunched over.
Well, look, here's how it plays. Maybe the correct call. I would say it's the correct call for a pass back. Certainly can see sides and arguments for both. I could be convinced either way. A handball then not given. Polonia for the crossbar 3 times. If they don't walk away with this grand final win, or at least a goal to show for their efforts, they're going to feel like the football gods are against them. A change again incoming. So 5 is Lockie Inns. Off comes Lockie Inns. Is it the 14 that came on? Did you
Certainly is, yep, number
so
14.
Sabagal comes on. So if you do throw your mind back to the Glenwood win over Polonia midway through the year, Sabagal scored in that game to find an equaliser against Polonia. Here come Glenwood, Marco Bravo Ortiz, header up, over. Sabagal in the 14.
Polonia looking really a bit like a shell of their former selves from the first half. This confidence that Glenwood are now playing with, it's not pretty football, but it's certainly a lot more attacking than what we've previously seen earlier on. As Gemelli hits the deck and wins a foul for Glenwood in a dangerous position.
Glenwood are finding their feet, the fans are finding their voice. Glenwood are inching closer to a grand final win. One of the most successful teams in terms of player production and prestige in years gone by. It's been a while since the last Premier League 1 win, or at least Premier League win before it got the split, of course, but this will go a long way. Alumi, threatening ball, cleared away initially. It comes out here to a man who's just going to happily let that slide. I think that's Gemelli, in fact. Indeed it is. Here is Cameron Hayes. Lets the ball spin in his right hand before throwing it into the mixer. And Jot Singh, only as far here as the sub-dom man who's been so good in Orhuela.
You have to wonder as well, so much age in the midfielders. Orhuela got the legs to run 80 minutes at full pelt after coming on so early for Adam Lowe.
Quite well so far. Big effort from a man who spoke so fondly of his ambitions in this game and what this meant for him.
Well, they're certainly backing up their talk from the podcast. Ash Olami already said, well, you guys have got your promotion. This is all we've got. And they're playing for it as if this is the only thing that matters to them this season.
Ben Inns. Bit of fortune going his way, but not the roll of the ball. Out it goes. We'll stand in front of that to annoy De La Fuente a little bit. De La Fuente was ready to put a hit on him.
Gameship just starting to creep into this one. Benny Inns doing no favours for Marcus De La Fuente, who's managed to combat.
I think as well, yeah, in the 34th, so Akashti Umbla has come on.
Certainly looking for their goals. No need to whack on another defender.
Just lost the ball to the other side of Blacktown with that clearance. Goes a long way to slowing down time.
Fans meant to make way. Put in such an impressive shift against the quality of Marco Bravo. Had him clamped down in the opening 45. Had the job switched over to Luke Gemelli and didn't do a bad job of that either.
Strange old clearance. Here it comes out. to Sahadevan. Later picked up the loose ball. Robert Gibbas then sends it out wide to his top goal scorer who got the assist tonight. Big coming together there with Manjot Singh. Cleared away then by Hayes. Anywhere will do. Counting down to the last 11 minutes of this game. This game flown on by, hasn't it? Is this going to go all the way to the goalkeeper? It is. Polonia not happy. The fans have gone a little bit quiet.
Yeah, the temper's starting to bubble from Polonia.
What a throw. Marco Bravo Ortiz. Fouled by the man who just came on in the Cash D Bumbla. And the Cash puts the pressure back on. Bravo Ortiz is now free to burn into space. Twist, turn, the footwork, excellent. There's the flair, there's the rhythm and the rhyme. Whose ball? Big call. Polonia's.
And this is where a man like Marco Bravo really starts to warm into the game. Where tensions start to flare. Players are rifling in towards whoever's got the football. And the little nick around the corners, really what you're looking for sometimes. And Marco Bravo's got that in spades.
Lockie Nixon doing his best to inspire our way back into this game, but they've just not been anywhere near goal in these last 10 or 15 minutes or so. Michael Cullen's the man they're going to look to. Michael Cullen was blocked before it got any kicker behind it. Foul in the box potentially. No, corner it will be. Polonia have the umpteenth corner of this match. They're really building up now.
Yeah, I did say last night to Mark that I was going to try to keep a corner count, but I think I'd need a much bigger book next time if we were going to do this.
In it comes. It's a rushed corner in towards the back stick. They've barely been able to win a header all night from these corners. Maybe the next option needs to be the short one. Inns, I like that idea a lot. Out it went to the technical area. Found his dad. Harry Inns about to mastermind a grand final win, perhaps. We've seen late goals decide grand finals, particularly. You might cast your mind back to the PL1 first grade grand final last year, the PL1 reserve grade grand final of last year too. Is there going to be a late equaliser or a late goal to make it a tour at some point in the next 9 or so? I think there'll be some added on time though too. The fun's not over yet. Abbas putting pressure on. Dodds went for the dink. A little bit too audacious. Ball in, cleared away, solid clearance. A little awkward there. Could have gone down into the challenge there. Opted not to. I don't know why he didn't. The body came across him. I think of Jameli now playing as a left back. Definitely put a foot across. Should have gone down. Big tackle again. Ins unscathed though. On the touchline. Whose ball? Polonia. Ball was kicked away. It should be a yellow card. Clearly. Will be given.
Benny Inns still with the gamesmanship, just trying to rattle the Polonia back line, but it's cost him a yellow card, which who knows, he might have to pull out.
Marco Bravo Ortiz is trying to launch this here. Huge challenge. Huge challenge. Aiden Cox levelled. Inzi there. De La Fuente quick to put the ball out for Glenwood to take this free kick. There's going to be at least a 3-minute delay here. He was scythed.
Yeah, Benjamin Inns looked like he's been absolutely smashed on that left-hand side. The left knee buckled underneath him.
That'll hurt tomorrow.
But I'm sure if he's got a gold medal hung around his neck, he won't care if he's limping up to receive it or not.
Count me down, Bo. Where are we at?
Well, we've still got another 7 minutes plus stoppage, which I'd say with the injury to Jimenez and now Inns, we'll be looking at least another 3 or 4, which for Polonia, it'll be 3 or 4 seconds. For Glenwood, it'll be 3 or 4 hours to deal with.
Just behind near the canteen line, by the way. The police thoroughly enjoying this one.
Yeah, been very well behaved, the spectators. Yep. Usually it's the boys on the field that they need to be worrying about.
Strong save. De La Fuente from Marco Bravo Ortiz. And that just takes up another 30 seconds or so there.
Well, will this corner render the goal that secures the grand final win for Glenwood?
Now only 4 in the area, including Benians at the near post. Glenwood happy to sit back and watch the game unfold.
Good ball in, but a little too far from goal. It eventually swung away. Pushed around. Cashman leveled this time. This team together. Push and shove. Grand final. Tempest flaring. Lumi doing his best to stay calm. Not the person that you want to come together with.
Well, I mean, you'd have to say on the breakaway, it's a challenge that was pretty necessary just to slow things down and allow the Redbacks to get behind the ball.
It's still kicking back up. No one's throwing anything. It's all just another push thrown in. This is still going on.
Do you think the Polonia boys know that Ash is a boxer off the field?
No, I don't. You know how I know that? Because Polonia boys never watch the ferocious figure. So I think that was an lower or way low, but there were a couple of other pushes in. Lights are going off around the place, which means that we're getting very, very close to the end of this game. 5 minutes on the clock. I think now probably 5 minutes to add on.
I'm sure there'll be a few keen eyes drifting over from the other fixtures around the grounds.
Because it's very, very loud here, isn't it? It's attracting the attention of everybody. Look at the amounts of players in the box now in white. Everyone's defending. That's a shocking ball, to be fair. Where will it bounce to, though?
Great goal on by Gibas.
Alafonte gets it under control. Sends it out wide here to Aiden Cox. Caution, by the way. Sending this out wide now. Pickering playing as a right back, it seems. Moving a little dangerously. That's actually a fantastic pass. And Johnson striving to space. That's a terrible giveaway. A fatigued one there. Lumi's about to be fouled! Sides to the ground! That's a challenge from the captain, where he's laid down the marker. In fact, it's actually, I think, gone.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the referee's actually giving that yellow card to Manjot soon, yeah.
Something's being said on the sideline here, which I don't think the Glenwood boys are very, very happy with. It's being pointed straight to the...
It was actually Skiberis on the return, walking the ball back to the point and has flipped it straight into the head of Ash Olami.
Okay, so we're about to see what the verdict is. I think there will just be a caution. Leighton speaking to Kiana Woods, who saw it all. She doesn't miss a beat. Yellow, I'm going to assume is this yellow. Yes, the colour is yellow. To Jacob Skiberis, I'm going to assume it goes to. Which has been given to Laterre as well, who could have been cautioned earlier, and that could have been his second. This game is just being brought to a higher level of tension. The crowd edging closer to the fence. Glenwood edging closer to a grand final win, but it's not going to happen quietly. Games decided by a single goal in grand finals are the ones that live closest to the line, I'd say. Alumi clips it in.
It's a great ball.
Really, really well played by De La Fuente. Pushes Sabogal in the 14 jersey out of the way and eventually plays it short. My word, what a tackle it was, by the way, on Alumi a couple of moments ago. That was a scyther. Anywhere will do for Glenwood. 88 minutes on the clock. Well, Glenwood still have all the territory right now. Playing the better football in this second half.
Yep,
in a game that's been so entertaining. Alumi!
Polonia have had the possession all game, and now that Glenwood are content with how they're playing, they haven't changed their tactics whatsoever from kickoff. They've been forced into a style of football which they haven't conventionally used throughout 2024. But they've taken to it in full stride, and look at Ash Olami. He's loving this.
Well, the sidelines, the Glenwood and Polonia fans, I have to say, are acting frankly ridiculous.
Cullen's lost the ball.
Come away with it now. Michael Cullen closing in on ends.
tries to floor him, misses it. Cox, whose caution, has to be careful. Corner, Benin so brave, knowing that he was about to have his leg snapped in half. This is phenomenal.
Looks like Cullen's also come off second best out of that challenge, and both of them on a yellow.
I don't think Cullen got caution from that last.
No, you're right. It was given to Manjot Singh, so get out of jail free card.
Well, it's all happening on the sidelines. It's all happening on the pitch. Ball delivered in by Marco Bravo Ortiz to seal the grand final. Missed.
Brilliant leap from Baptiste. Olami, you thought was engaged with Manjot Singh in the corner, flicked it back to Marco Bravo. There's still a chance here for Polonia.
About to go out. Yeah. Glenwood are almost home. They're 5 seconds on the clock. I think there's about to be 7 added on. I think it should be about 7 added on. Cullen's kept his head. In sees that one out again.
Benny in still with gas in the tank. Can he find a sealer to ice this game for Glenwood?
Polonia's trying everything they can, but they look pretty weathered out there. Later had to be careful. He probably thought for a moment he was cautioned there. Good touch there by Johnny Pickering. Centre back moved to a right back here to Abbas, who's barely touched the ball. Abbas needs to find something here. He's still got some fire left in the boots and the belly. Yeah, he's won a set piece here. Really good stuff by Abbas. He's had a real productive and efficient night. This might be it in terms of the chances, because they have only made about a chance every 5 minutes on average this second half. It's not been as good as the first half. Glenwood have really grown into this game. But can Polonia shift things around right now?
Well, having hit the crossbar already 3 times, you'd have to say across the 90. Surely they've deserved a goal.
Unfortunately, I have to be frank, Polonia's set pieces have been underwhelming today. Alumi in again, the 19-year-old captain material. Lumped forward Pickering. Into touch. Polonia now with their tails up. The Rams need to find something here. Glenwood being urged back by their fans to defend and defend for what their lives are worth. Easy for Dodds. That's 2 minutes played into added-on time. The referee not looking at his watch though. He knows that there's a fair few more to go. Towards Sabagal, a slip by Pickering. He's hurt himself. He's more frustrated with himself though. Abbas coming back. Sabagal went around him and then said, "How dare ya?" Comes back here, and they're keeping it around just short of the halfway line. They're creating triangles around them now. Later has to be careful, cautioned. Inns, find the corner, Benny. Sliding challenge.
Still
2.5 minutes played.
hassling is Benny Inns.
Look at this. Look at this for the hustle. Look at the watch by the referee this time. Elafuente goes high. Glenwood are so close. Minutes, moments, seconds away. Alumi involved again. Cleared. Baptiste.
And hear the thuds of the barricade. The Glenwood boys, they're so close. They're nearly there.
Go back, says Lockie, or Lockie Nixon is told.
Being urged home from their fans as Michael Cullen loses it underneath himself and Inns just thumps it up the road. 3.5 of extra time gone.
They're almost home. Glenwood Redbacks almost home. There's about to be a last gasp corner. Well, their set pieces have been next to woeful all night. They've barely been able to get ahead on any of them. Is this about to be the perfect one? I think that's Abbas who's just taken it as quick as possible. It's a really decent ball in! It's been cleared. On the edge of the box, Colin. No, a picture of the night. In fact, I think it was Aiden Cox.
It was, who was all on his lonesome and just got right underneath it. Couldn't sit right for him.
Just felt the rush of blood. It is almost 10:30 at night. Glenwood are going to go to their bench. A smart sub.
Put a bit of ice on this Polonia momentum. They're throwing the kitchen sink, the front door, every bit of furniture they've got left.
Off goes Orhela with a fantastic almost 90-minute performance tonight. It's a late grand final appearance off of the bench for Sean Nadason, who made the mid-season switch to join from Bella Vista FC. Lumped forward, one in the air, Gemelli. Big sliding challenge there. Down at State Savagal, I do believe. Play can continue on though. Glenwood are happy to go on. De La Fuente under pressure. Nearly sealed the grand final for Glenwood. Big coming together here with Hayes. With over 5 minutes gone. This is the last chance, I think. Another big coming together here. Illumi and Later. A bit of a weird header. Yep, free kick has been given. This is it. This is going to be it. But I think Glenwood are feeling a bit lucky that they didn't have to face the advantage there.
Yeah, Baptiste, I thought he was waiting for it to sit to absolutely whack the life out of it, but caught a glancing header.
This has to be it, Jason Skipperis. This has to be it, Polonia in the grand final. Ball delivered in. Flick towards goal! Off the line!
And that's it!
Nope, there's a fan on the field and a free kick given.
No, referee pointed to the centre circle. I thought that was it. All said and done.
Maybe an impediment on the goalkeeper. Now at plus 6 minutes. What else could possibly happen in this game?
John Baptiste.
Well, hang on. Was there a pull down on one of the players of Polonia? Because we're going across to the assistant ref.
Well,
Yeah, oh, Later looked impeded. Oh, this would be a massive call. I don't think it's going to be given. It was discussed way too quickly. No, nothing.
did look like a bit of an awkward coming together, but both had eyes for the ball. I think it would have been very harsh.
7 minutes almost played of added time. Down goes Cox. Oh, Robert Gibbous! Here's your grand final. Robert Gibbous, no! Oh, well, Polonia are going to have time to launch another one. Glenwood are saying, how on earth are we still going? Whistle to the lips. There it is! Glenwood's gotcha! The Spanish boys combined for the only goal of the game. A fourth meeting between these two decided by a single goal. It was Marco Bravo Ortiz to Daniel Felix Jimenez, who combined for Jimenez's first goal of the season. And Glenwood have something to show for a fantastic season, even by their lofty standards. But what a 98 minutes of football we bear witness to tonight, Bo.
Wow, what an ending. Polonia, they kept knocking on the door from minute one. And Glenwood, they shut up shop. They didn't give them a sniff. And they just kept hammering away, Polonia did. Glenwood staying strong. Eventually the back pass from Ashton Fance, caught by De La Fuente. And it was tucked away, as you mentioned, by Jimenez. And they didn't have to change a single thing. Glenwood, they had their tested theory. Just sit, let Polonia come at us. We've got them.
Well, Polonia had a decision that they'll consider themselves, I'm sure, unlucky to have faced for the goal. They had a handball not go their way. They hit the crossbar thrice. And then they conceded from that decision that didn't go their way. It was an unfortunate night on a season that Polonia will reflect on in years and be okay with, because of course they've achieved promotion. But for Glenwood, this is the kicker contextually that they need to push on and become a Premier League 1 club again. Lots and lots and lots of love between the many nationalities that represent Glenwood. The many boys who've come together, a bunch of misfits, you'd say, a group from this club, a group of juniors, a couple of returning heroes. Marco Bravo Ortiz, who's been arguably their best player this year, who got the assist for the winning and only goal, with the Chilean flag risen above his head, now tied around his neck. Look, if you had to pick just one or two players, even three if you like, though, who stood out for you tonight from both teams?
Look, I'd have to say the one that I came into tonight really wanting to see show up was Ash Olami, and boy, did he. Got whacked a couple of times, put a few good whacks in himself. Had some decent deliveries into the area which tested the Polonia back line, especially in that second half after he did settle down a bit. And, well, just how about that in the last 15 minutes was really getting into the contest and giving it to the Polonia fans. That's the sort of character you want in a winning side when the chips are down, to pick you up by the shoulders and say, come with me, we've got this.
I'm going to mention Ronan Dodds as well, the safest hands in the competition, at least tonight. The safest hands in the precinct. Blacktown Football Park blessed by the safe hands of the just 21-year-old Ronan Dodds. Actually has 2 assists to his name this year, but he's just assisted a grand final win. Polonia, commiserations to you. I know you walked straight off, and I know it's a bittersweet end to the season because you've achieved what you wanted to initially, but a bit of an upsetting ending to be crashing out in the third. So not to go the way in first, but let's keep the attention with Glenwood, who didn't even make the finals last year. Looked like they'd even dropped out at one point. They were 5th heading into the finals. They were 1st at one point midway through the season, and they finished as champions. And you know what? Boy, did they work themselves into that game and play the better football at the end of the day.
And I'd say if there's any quotes that they can stick on the wall in Harry Inns' dressing room, we've done it the hard way.
Have done it the hard way. Well, what a night one it has been at Blacktown Football Park. Bo, thank you so much for your service to the BDSFA and the Premier League system this season. You've been an absolute joy to tune into and listen to, and joy to work with tonight. I know that everybody should be appreciative of the effort that you have put in. Thank you so much for what you do and what you've done and what you will do. To Polonia, commiserations to you and the boys. Lots of great members of the Blacktown football community in there. Commiserations to you. Didn't quite go your way tonight. You can consider yourselves at times unlucky, but Glenwood, consider yourselves champions. You absolute legends. Led by a 19-year-old that knows exactly what it means to be a champion. Led by a 32-year-old Marco Bravo Ortiz. United by the language of football, and here as champions tonight. We will see you tomorrow. I'll be back live for the 21s kickoff between Tigers and Marang, the repeat of last year's grand final. Here comes Ash, by the way. And then also I'll be back for the first grade final between, you know who, Ponds and Doonside. But of course, Dave McDonald will take a reserve grade grand final between Workers and Doonside. Bo, been a pleasure. Any parting words?
No, I've just got to say it's been an absolute pleasure to cover arguably, or I wouldn't even say arguably, I'd have to say this is by far the greatest association football Premier League setup in all of Sydney. Definitely within New South Wales, and would rival many of Melbourne's setups. The quality, the passion, the intensity of these games has been non-stop from start to finish. Whether there's been finals on the line, premierships on the line, or just a mid-table battle, it's been a massive, enjoyable ride, and it's just getting started for this weekend, so be sure to tune in tomorrow.
For sure, tune in tomorrow. We're going to head because we're going to let the presentations unfold, and those watching from abroad, tune in. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure. Mark and Bo signing off for tonight.
you to take the boys in the technical now, please finish up. Everybody, please ask you to put your hands together for the most Glenwood Redbacks for a magnificent game. Wonderful theatre, wonderful sets, wonderful moments in time. Thank you. Everybody present, on behalf of the BDSFA Board of Directors and the Executive, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the 2024 PL2 Grand Finals between Glenwood and Polonia. Unfortunately, there can only be one winner, and this year Glenwood were victorious in what was a wonderful game. Played a very so to Glenwood, congratulations, wonderful effort. To Polonia, one of the oldest clubs in Blacktown, with one of the most wonderful, diverse communities within Blacktown. A wonderful effort, and thank you for the memories of tonight. You did a wonderful job. Please put your hands together, please, for Polonia, everybody. None of what we do would be possible without our referees. So if I could please ask our referees to make their way onto the field, I'll be joined by Board Director Ryan Talbot and the General Manager of the BDSFA, Mr. Owen Liu. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please ask you to put your hands together for the four officials? They did a wonderful job. Please put your hands together for referees, guys. The MVP and the match ball go to Polonia player number 9. If you'd please make your way forward, Polonia player number 9. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for player number 9. Have a wonderful game, young man. Would you like to say anything? All credit to the boys. That's it. All credit to the boys. Thank you very much. I would now like to call upon the captain of Polonia to come out and receive the runners-up trophy and the runners-up medallions. So please ask for the captain of Polonia to come out, please, guys. You've got to speak, mate, all right?
Yeah. Alright. Well done, Glenwood, first of all. It's tough to lose, tough team to verse, but we're better tonight. Well done, Polonia. We tried, but just didn't get there tonight, and then we'll work on next year. Adro. Johnny. Roll. Sammy. Dave. Mike. JP. Lockie. Manny. Savi. Akash. Let me sound. Riley. Ashton. Darman. Marcus. And Tarrant. Yes. And Henry. And Alex. And Ice.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Polonia runners-up 2024 PL2 Grand Finalists. Thank you very much. I would now like to call upon the captain of Glenwood, the victors tonight. Great game, guys. Should be very proud, Harry, and all the members of Glenwood for a great effort. Congratulations, mate. All right. So give us one of those and you have to speak. Actually, I want to get a photo. Just in case run out of it. Just put them there, mate. You start. Thank you.
Firstly, I want to thank Polonia. They pushed us all year. Very well deserved promotion, and I wish you guys the best of luck next year in PL1. I want to say thanks to everyone who came down, and for the boys, we fucking did it. No. Okay, I won't swear again, I promise. Sorry, it's cool, man. Cameron. Robert. Daniel. Ben. Alvaro. Adam. Josh. Sean. No. Seb. Cameron. Jake. Luke. Lorenzo. Nick. Marco. Marco. Who's going? Ash. And last but not least, Ronan. Nicole. Nicole. And Harry. And Paolo.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Glenwood, the premiers for 2024 PL2 Grand Finalists. Everyone, thank you for tonight's memories. This is the final game on the main pitch. Please get home safely, look after each other, and we look forward to seeing you here tomorrow for what should be another action-packed and wonderful day of memories for 2024. Thank you very much.